Everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I'm not in my normal place today. I crashed my car. Crashing my car. It was my fault. I dozed off at the wheel. I don't sleep well. I have a horrible time sleeping. And in that particular case, I nodded off and ran in the back of it's a moot point. It's not what I want to talk about. It didn't damage the guy's car. I'm not being sued or anything else. The guy gets out the car, looks at it, and says, "You could have killed somebody." I say, "You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. I could have killed somebody." He had no damage on his car. My car was damaged. My airbag came out. The airbag coming out was enough to damage the entire car. So, before I go to the hospital or before I go to the doctor's office, I want to get this done. I saw something today that tripped me out. Don't comment on the medical part. I don't like it. Oh my God, I'm saying something about it. Me disliking has more to do with me and has nothing to do with the people commenting. I appreciate everybody's love and support, but it doesn't matter. I saw in Washington Post today, there is a progressive hero, a wrestler, a progressive wrestler. His moniker, the thing that he's up there fighting for, I'm a progressive wrestler. He gets up there and he says something to the effect of, Bernie Sanders would have made an awesome Secretary of State. Bernie Sanders would have made an awesome president. And then starts bashing Hillary Clinton, bashing Donald Trump. He is a progressive hero. He doesn't take shit off of anybody. He doesn't care that the audience is screaming at him. He doesn't care that the audience is yelling bad things and obscenities at him. His morality, his morals. Those are the things that power him. Not these other edifices that aren't real and all this made up shit. No. He's a progressive hero. He's fighting for the poor. He's a wrestler for the poor and disadvantaged. That's what he is. Now, the absurdity of this is amazing to me. But there's one caveat. Wrestling has always mimicked life. It's always mimicked life. Think about it. Think back. The Iron Sheik. He was a menace. He was the Iron Sheik. He represented the Russian threat, the Red Menace. He was the edifice of that Red Menace. He encapsulated that Red Menace. When Hulk Hogan, our chosen hero, fought the Iron Sheik, we rooted for Hulk Hogan because it was the United States. Everything, all these things that made up the United States, all these ideas, all these narratives, folded into one man, one wrestler. And that man was fighting the Soviet Red Menace, the Iron Sheik. We rooted for Hulk Hogan. As Hulk Hogan got his ass kicked by hundreds of people. It's like you would see Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan, he was a man. He was a brave and strong man. And we didn't care that it was fake. At the time, people pretended that it wasn't fake. Hulk Hogan would get his ass kicked. He would be injured. And Hulk Hogan would still go back out to that ring because Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan. He could take it. He could take it. You had billionaire Ted DiBiase. He represented all the vagaries of society. I could pay half of society to murder the other half of society because I have the cash to do that. Cash, and this represents your scarcity. You need it. If you don't have it, you and your family are going to go hungry. I have what you need. I'm going to pay you to do all of these jobs, all of these tasks, and you would do these tasks. Otherwise, you would go hungry and starving. Cash is a mechanism of control. Billionaire, millionaire, Ted DiBiase, whatever you want to call him, had that cash. He was hated. He was hated. He utilized that cash to influence wrestlers. He told you about it. He was the edifice to which you can pour your hate and disgust into what this country has become in regards to the capitalistic nation. Ted DiBiase, wrestler. Are you telling me that wrestling, art, doesn't imitate our real life? And what does it say when you have a wrestler who represents society in a way and calls himself a progressive hero? I'm fascinated by that. Wrestling. Chris Hedges does a really good job of this, where he goes into this idea of how wrestling imitates our society and how the things that people dump into these wrestlers, these narratives, these stories, what these people say they represent, are in many respects what these elements of society themselves come up with. These things that just burst out of society, these honest representations of society that come out in this almost comic bookish way. That's wrestling. We love it. I haven't watched wrestling in God knows how long. When I was in Egypt, they used to love it. They used to sit back and watch it. And I remember one of the guys comparing Bush to one of the wrestlers, saying, he hates us. And I had to explain to him that there's a difference between hate, between racism, or xenophobia, and people not caring, apathy. Apathy is not the same as racism. This is a different thing. I would argue it's even worse, because it means it doesn't care. You're irrelevant to the process at that point. In this particular case, wrestlers represent something in that particular society. Wrestlers become somewhat of a lightning rod in regards to how they can get people to like, hate, or get behind them. If you have a progressive hero, that stamp is in society. Now, I'm going to argue this is positive. There was never a progressive wrestler before. There was never enough people paying attention to progressive politics to even know that guy existed. That guy has enough support and enough people knowing who he is that they created a wrestler to embody that movement. That's amazing. That's a win. You may not think it is, but that's a win. That's some capitalistic enterprise recognizing that there's enough of a narrative here and there's enough of people pissed off that we're going to add this to our whatever the fuck enterprise this is. Yes, he's going to be comic bookish. Yes, he's going to be cartoonish. But the fact that he exists in the first place is a win for progressives. You put your name on the map. Good job. What are you going to do about it? What's the world you want? How are you going to get that world? You have a wrestler that's a progressive hero. I'm going to cheer his ass on even though I'm not going to watch him. I want to cheer us on too. I want us to organize. That's what I want. I just don't know how to do it. I saw this, I thought it was funny, which is why I wanted to talk about it. I hope sound quality and everything came out okay. I'm trying to talk closer to the camera. I don't know what today is going to end up like. I suspect they're going to keep me, but I don't know. If they keep me, I'll bring all my video equipment and everything else to the hospital. So, go from there. I have no feelings about the visit at all. I don't want you to have any feelings about the visit either. So, go from there. Alright guys, hope you have a good one. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, feel free to share, rate, subscribe. You can always